Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will learn how to release purchase orders subject to release strategy individually and collectively. First, we will learn how to release purchase orders individually. Okay, so before releasing purchase order, we should know two important points. How to know if a purchase order is subject to release strategy? The first point is if we display a purchase order subject to release, if it is subject to release strategy, then it will have the release strategy tab at the header level and the release indicator will be black. Okay, let us display any one purchase order. For example, I will copy this purchase order ending with 17482 and let me go to the SAP screen. Let me go to MB23N here. Input other purchase order ending with 17482 here. We can see that we have this release strategy tab at the header level and the release indicator will be black. Okay, we can see the release codes also. Okay, this is the first thing. The first thing is that purchase order will have release strategy tab at the header level as well as the release indicator will be blocked because it is subject to release strategy. Okay, the second point is if we go to messages and display the output, we can see that the output is locked, which means the purchase order cannot be printed. Let us go to the messages here. Click on the messages here. It will take you to the output here. We can see that the output is not printed. That means, here this is the medium is print output. That means the purchase order is not printed. Okay, so this purchase order, once it is printed, this will become green. The status will become green and it will show processed. Okay, now if I select this line and go to further data, I can see here that the field locked is checked here. Okay, why it is locked? Because the purchase order is not released. Okay, now if I go to F1, if I click on this field locked which is checked and go to F1, okay, I can see that the output is locked. And further, more details. Purchasing documents can be subject to a release procedure. If documents have not been released, the relevant output has the blocking indicator and cannot be processed. For example, printed or sent electronically. Okay. If a purchase order is subject to release strategy and it is not released, means the status is means the release indicator is blocked, then that purchase order cannot be printed and sent to the vendor. Okay, how? Because it is locked here. Okay, the print output is locked. Okay, these are the two things. Okay, to know that a purchase order is subject to release strategy and it is not released. Okay, now to print the purchase order, we have to release the purchase order, and once released, it will be automatically printed. Okay, once the purchase order is released, this output, this one, the status will become green. Now it is yellow. Okay, it will become green and purchase order will be printed and sent to the vendor for ordering the materials. Okay, now we will see how to release the purchase order individually. Okay, the transaction code to release a purchase order individually is ME29N. Okay, let us go to ME29N. I have copied this purchase order. Let me go to ME29N. Here, ME29N. Okay, I have copied the purchase order. Put the purchase order one ending with 17482. And here, let us release the purchase order here. Okay, so here we can see that in the release, in the column release options for the release code P1, here we can see one green check mark. That means P1 can release it. Okay, I will click on this green check mark or the release button for P1. Okay, once I click here, then we get the message release affected with release code P1. And here the status will change to release affected or it becomes green here, the status column for P1. Now, after P1 has released, P2 can release it. Okay, I am clicking on the green check mark for in the row of P2. Okay. I get the message release effected with release code P2 and the status has changed to green for P2. Now the final release code who can release the purchase order is P3. Okay, I will click on the green check mark in the row of P3. Okay, and I will get the message release effected with the release code P3 and the status for P3 is also changed to green and now the release indicator is changed to release. Okay, and one more point I want to share here. Once a purchase order is released by the respective release codes, they can also cancel the release. Okay, but they can cancel only before saving the purchase order. Okay, if I save the purchase order, okay, then nobody can cancel the release. Okay, before saving this, okay, saving this, release of the purchase order, okay, we can cancel the release with the respect to release codes. Example here, P3 can cancel. Okay, here, that is, if we see the release options button, this is white color, right? This one, this white arrow mark down here. If we click the cursor here, I can see that I am getting message cancel release. Okay, let me click here. See, P3 has cancelled. Now P2 can cancel. Okay. Now after P2 has cancelled, again, okay, the final, P1 can also cancel. Now all the three release codes have cancelled the release. Okay, and the purchase order is again back to the initial state. Okay, initial state means here the release indicator is blocked. Okay, now I will release it and save it. Okay, I just wanted to share you that how to cancel the release of the purchase order. Okay, now I will release with release code P1. Okay, P1 is released. P2, we get the message release affected with release code P2 and the release indicator is still blocked. Okay, now finally I will click with release indicator P3 and we get the message release affected with release code P3 and the release indicator will change to release. Okay, now the purchase order is released and I am going to save it. Okay, we should not forget to save. Click on save. Okay, now the purchase order is actually released. Okay, so after a purchase order is released here, okay, we see two changes here. Okay, what are these two changes? The first thing is the release indicator will be changed to released. Okay, first thing, and in the messages, the output status is changed to green, which means it is that will be that means that output is processed successfully and it is printed. Okay, so first the first change we already just now saw it is released. The second change is if you go to messages, we can see that the status of the output print output is green. That means it is successfully processed or it is printed successfully. Okay, now if I go to details here, I can see that the field locked is unchecked. Okay, before the purchase order was released, okay, here it was locked. Now the lock has removed. Okay, and now this the output is unlocked and purchase order is printed and sent to the vendor. Okay, so these are the two changes, okay, which we see after a purchase order is released. Okay, so this is how to release a purchase order individually. Now we will learn how to release multiple purchase orders collectively. Okay, so here we have three purchase orders, okay, which are to be released. Okay, ending with 17483, 17484, and 17485. Okay, now the transaction code to release purchase orders collectively is ME28. Let us go to ME28 transaction code and release all these purchase orders, okay, in one go. Okay, let me go to SAP screen. Here I will go to SAP screen and let me go to ME28. Okay, here the first release code, okay, who is going to release the purchase orders will be P1. Okay, then P2, then P3. Okay, input P1 and execute. Okay. We get the list of the purchase orders to be released with the release code P1. Okay. 74, 83, 84 and 85. Okay. Here 83, 84 and 85. Now first select the purchase order ending with 7483 and click on release plus save. Okay. That the first purchase order is released with the release code P1. Now again execute. Now that purchase order ending with 7483 will not appear because it is released with the release code P1. Now we will release the second purchase order ending with 7484 with the release code P1. And click on this second purchase order and click on release plus save. That is also release, second purchase order. Now again execute. Now the only purchase order, okay, which is to be released with the release code P1 is ending with 7485. Click on this purchase order and click on release plus save. That is also released. Okay, now once the purchase orders are released with the release code P1, if we execute here, we get message no suitable purchasing documents found. Why? Because all the three purchase orders are released with the release code P1. Okay, now the next release code who has to release the purchase orders is P2. Put here P2 and execute. You will get again these three purchase orders. Click on the first purchase order and click on release plus save. Okay, okay, that is done. Again execute. Click on the second purchase order 7484 and release plus save. Okay, that is also released. Now execute. Okay, this is the last purchase order ending with 7485. Click on this purchase order and click on release plus save. Okay, the last purchase order is also released. Okay, now if I execute again here with the release code P2, I will get message no suitable purchasing documents found because all the three purchase orders are released with the release code P3, P2, P2. Okay, now we have to release the three purchase orders with the release code the P3, or this is the final release code. Okay, who is going to release the purchase orders? Put P3 and execute. We get the three purchase orders. Click on the first purchase order and click on release plus save. Execute. Click on the second purchase order, release plus save. Okay, release is saved. We get the message. Now execute. Click on the last purchase order and release plus save. Okay, so we have released the three purchase orders with the release code P3 also. Now if I again try to execute, I will get message no suitable purchasing documents found because all the three purchase orders are released with the release code P3. Okay, not only P3, now we have released the three purchase orders with all the release codes which are P1, P2 and P3. Okay, now these purchase orders are released. Now let us display that purchase order. Okay, any of this purchase order which I have just now released. Let me ending with 83. Okay, here I can see that the purchase order is released, and also I will go to let me go to messages here, and also I can see that it is output is successfully processed and it is sent to the vendor. Okay, so this is how to release purchase orders, okay, individually and also collectively. Thank you for watching my video, and we will meet in my next video with another interesting topic. See you till then.